You can shout as loud as you want, but if no one knows who you are, what's the point? In an era where every click comes at a cost, many businesses are diving headfirst into marketing like moths to a flame, running ads, blasting emails, burning money just to make a sale at all costs. But behind every hasty decision lies a brand without a shape, without emotion, without identity, and eventually disappears into obscurity. Are you building a castle on sand without even knowing it? It's time to break away from old patterns and dig deep. Branding and marketing, which is the root, which is the branch? And more importantly, where should you begin before everything collapses? Part 1. The core conflict. Is branding only for million-dollar businesses? Only businesses generating tens of millions of dollars in revenue need to build a brand. That statement gets to the root of the problem, wrongly, because branding is not a reward for success, it is a condition for success. When a business is starting out, what it needs first is not a large marketing budget, but a clear reason for existence. That is the brand's core. Marketing can propel a product far, but it is the brand that defines the direction. Without direction, every strategy is a waste. In contrast, some argue that focusing on branding without market share is a waste. But in reality, without a clear brand, every marketing effort is like shouting in a marketplace. Branding is not a luxury, but a sign of strategic clarity. Without branding, marketing becomes a guessing game. Today, social media, tomorrow, discounts. And so the business gets caught in a cycle of constant changes, lacking focus, lacking a singular guiding voice. Building a brand early on is the only way to inspire from within. With a solid foundation, a business doesn't have to chase superficial trends. Every action, from product, sales to communications, revolves around a unified set of values. That's not just a smart approach, it's the only way to build a loyal, connected community. Success doesn't come from a big budget, but from an identity that cannot be copied. And that identity starts from day one, not after hitting the $1 million mark. Part 2. The nature of branding. Not a logo, but the soul of the business. Branding doesn't start with colors or fonts. It starts with the question, why does this business exist? A true brand is not built from appearance, but from emotion. Every design detail is just the final expression. The core of branding lies in belief, personality, voice, and the business's worldview. Without that belief system, even the most perfect design is empty. Still, some choose to start with a logo. They think branding is a memorable image, a visual mark, or something that looks professional. But a logo cannot create loyalty on its own. A brand cannot survive on aesthetics alone. Consumers connect with the story, the reason, the message. If a business doesn't clearly define who it is and who it serves, every symbol becomes a soulless shell. It might look good, but lacks life. Just focus on making sales first, then think about branding later. But a product that sells today does not guarantee it will continue to sell tomorrow. Without a brand foundation, sales strategies are often reactive. A brand with clear positioning will naturally filter out the right market, retain customers over the long term, and reduce future marketing costs. Building a brand does not slow down growth. It is the only way to sustain it. A brand is a distinct presence in people's minds. It's the feeling that lingers after someone leaves your website, the story they tell when mentioning you. When the brand is strong, customers become your best marketers. They share not for money, but because they resonate. If a business only looks professional, it will get lost in the crowd. No difference, no emotion, no return. Branding is what's felt, not just what's seen. Many founding teams ignore branding because it seems abstract, but it's precisely the lack of clear definition that causes them to struggle whenever launching something new. They change slogans frequently, revise website content constantly. These are signs of internal confusion. A properly defined brand from the start becomes a compass for every decision, from communications to HR to product. Without a compass, the business just runs in circles on a whim. Part 3. Marketing. A loudspeaker that needs a melody. Marketing is the loudspeaker that brings the company's voice to customers. It amplifies, clarifies, and spreads the message. But that loudspeaker only works if there's a melody worth hearing. If branding hasn't been defined, marketing becomes empty echo. Every message lacks weight because it doesn't represent anything. To market successfully, what's needed first is not an ad budget, but a voice with soul. Some marketing campaigns succeed without strong brand foundations. However, that success is often short-lived, driven by novelty or gimmicks. When customers don't feel a consistent personality, they come for the promotion and leave just as easily. Without brand foundations, a business must spend more to reach people. That's not sustainable. It's burning money to stay afloat in the noise race. Marketing is often mistaken as the only strategic solution. Some companies pour budgets into ads, hoping exposure will cover up the lack of identity. But when the message lacks deep values, customers sense the insincerity. They interact, but don't connect. Views can't replace trust. Many ads succeed in numbers, but fail to build long-term relationships. That's the cost of ignoring the soul. Marketing effectiveness isn't about tools or platforms. It's about the honesty of the message being shared. When the brand is clear, every campaign has purpose, depth, and stronger connection. Marketing then is not about pushing products, but inviting customers on a value journey. You don't need to shout if your voice is already right. And the right voice only comes when branding is clearly rooted. Part 4, limited budget. How should it be split? When resources are limited, every spending decision is critical. The question isn't branding or marketing, it's how much to allocate to each. A sensible approach is a 30-70 split, with the smaller part for brand foundation. Without clear identity and positioning from the start, all future marketing spending lacks focus. Money can buy ads, but not meaning or loyalty. All the budget should be allocated to marketing to generate early cash flow. But this approach is like building a house without a foundation. When the campaign ends, customers disappear because they have no reason to return. A clear brand helps marketing messages resonate more deeply, creating a ripple effect rather than just surface-level waves. Investing a small portion in branding from the beginning will enhance the effectiveness of later marketing efforts. It is a strategic saving, not a cost. Limited budget doesn't mean sacrificing depth. A good brand strategy doesn't need a massive budget, just clear thinking and long-term commitment. Even without external agencies, the founding team can ask themselves, why do we exist? Who do we serve? What makes us different? These questions cost nothing, but change everything. And that clarity becomes the lever that makes every marketing dollar work harder. Part 5. Customers don't buy logos, they buy emotion and shared values. A strong brand doesn't live in a logo, but in emotion. Customers remember you not for your colors, but for what you stand for in their minds. It could be boldness, elegance, sincerity, or rebellion. These traits can't be drawn, they're felt. A logo may impress, but only the values a brand delivers create bonds, and that bond is the foundation of loyalty. Many businesses spend heavily on visual identity while ignoring the brand's soul. They assume customers will be attracted by polished appearances, but a beautiful yet soulless brand won't keep anyone. When customers find no resonance, no human in the brand, they walk away after one interaction. It's honesty, consistency, and empathy that nurture long-term relationships, not the outer layer. Some brands succeed just from unique design, but that success often hinges on timing, curiosity, or viral campaigns. Without real values underneath, attention quickly fades. The market grows smarter. Consumers care not just about the product, but also the brand's motives, philosophy, and behavior. Without emotional foundation, all image-building efforts are fragile. When a brand knows who it is and who it serves, it doesn't need to shout. It simply says the right thing in its own voice. That's where emotion arises, not from tactics, but from sincerity. A brand is the emotional replica of a business in the customer's mind. And once that emotion hits the right note, it builds a community, not just sales. Part 6, the interwoven relationship. Branding is the root, marketing is the branch. Branding and marketing do not exist independently. One defines the core values, the other delivers them. Branding lays the foundation, while marketing amplifies it. When combined properly, they create a unified system, where the message is not only heard but also felt. If a business is a tree, branding is the root embedded deep in the ground, and marketing is the branch reaching for the sun. Without strong roots, the branch easily breaks. Many modern business models emphasize marketing while neglecting the root. They prioritize visibility, reach, clicks, yet cannot answer the question, why do we exist? When marketing messages don't stem from brand essence, they become fragmented. Campaigns change with trends, lacking consistency. Customers hear information, but feel no identity. And when there's no feeling, there's no reason to remember or return. There are also cases where branding is overhyped as the single answer to all business problems. A beautiful, profound brand without outreach capability remains stuck on paper. Without strong marketing, the brand's internal values will never reach the hearts and ears of customers. Building a brand must go hand in hand with a sound communication strategy. A tree with roots but no branches cannot grow toward the sun. True strength arises only when branding and marketing merge into a seamless flow. From email messages, social media posts, to product experiences, all reflect the same soul. At that point, marketing no longer talks about the product, but conveys a belief. And branding ceases to be an abstract concept. It becomes the operating system that governs how a business speaks to the world. Part 7. Education is outdated. Still teaching. Logo equals branding. In many educational environments, branding is still reduced to visual design. Students learn to draw logos, choose color palettes, build visual systems, but are rarely guided on how to define positioning, build brand strategy, or craft a consistent voice. When education overemphasizes visuals while neglecting essence, the market fills up with brand designers lacking brand thinking. They're good at aesthetics, but unaware of the reasons behind what they do. Some newer programs have started introducing strategy, positioning, and customer insights, but they remain too few and still follow the mindset of training to produce output. When students are taught to make only what's visible, they naturally assume branding is what's seen. As a result, many professionals enter the market without a deep foundation in brand identity thinking. You can't blame them. The system is teaching the wrong roots. And when the roots are wrong, all branches are easy to break. Part 8. Positioning. The battle in the customer's mind. Positioning doesn't live on presentation slides. It lives in the consumer's perception. It's the emotional space the brand occupies in their mind. When they think of you, what comes to mind? What they feel. Positioning isn't just a message. It's the crystallization of values, personality, and the brand's promise. When a brand has clear positioning, customers don't hesitate. They know who you're for, what you solve, and why you're different. That's how a brand rises above the noise. Sometimes, brand builders confuse positioning with a slogan. They write a clever tagline and assume that's enough. But if the positioning doesn't come from deep understanding of customers, the market, and internal strengths, all messages are empty words. The market doesn't respond to slogans. It responds to authenticity and consistency. Positioning is not what you claim. It's what customers remember after they've experienced you. Part 9. An unintended brand is still a brand, but one out of control. Whether a business actively builds a brand or not, customers still form their own impression. Branding doesn't live in marketing plans, but in how consumers feel after every interaction. Every reply email, every service call, every product shipped, they're all brand touchpoints. Without deliberate brand shaping, the business lets others decide who they are. And when identity is defined externally, control becomes fragile. Some businesses accept this as a natural law. They believe that as long as the product is good, the brand will shape itself. But without direction, impressions are random. A single good experience isn't enough to form a brand. What's needed is consistency and intention. Without a clearly defined identity from the start, a business easily sends conflicting messages, causing customer confusion or loss of trust. Silence in positioning is also a message, and often a weak one. If a brand isn't clear, can marketing alone retain customers? If a business focuses only on promotion without knowing why it exists, can it go far? These questions compel us to reflect. Is our identity driving our actions, or are we chasing data and trends? Between branding and marketing, which is truly the foundation, and which is the tool? Or is this separation itself the greatest barrier? If the ultimate goal is lasting connection and meaningful impact, is there any reason to draw a line between two concepts that were meant to walk side by side from the beginning? Thank you for watching the whole video. Please like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos.